Welcome. Good evening, nerds. Welcome to episode 58. Jesus Christ, we've done too many. I think I always say that. Of Geeklife Live, your source for all the nerdy news you need to know. I'm your host with the headband, Jake the Great, aka Gonzo Gone Live. And joining me today is the man who made 5 beats a day for 3 summers. He deserves to do these numbers. It's the man, the myth, the legend, Toddly Awesome. How are you doing tonight, Kev?
Doing great, Jake. I'm always happy to hear that intro. Glad to be back. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
No, it has been. If you can't tell by how I'm fucking up all these intros, it's been a long time since we've done this. So it is. It's good to be back, right?
I think so.
Cool. Well, and back this week, spoiler, it's a pack of Savage Kids. Wait, no, it's Savage Patch Kids. How are you doing tonight, Seth?
Doing great. We still gotta workshop that line, but doing pretty good.
Yeah. I'll continue to workshop it.
The potential's there.
It's fine. It's
right there.
I mean, at least it's better than a pack of feral children. So
that is, yeah. I mean, that one took more explaining and more thought. It was a much deeper joke. But anyway, it's I digress.
Nuance.
What have you guys been up to? We've been gone for a little bit. I know personally, I've finished watching Resident Evil. Not as shitty as I thought it would be. It's still not great. And I've been playing Stray. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I've been having a lot of fun running around as a cat. It's been a blasty blast. But what about you guys? What have you been up to? Kev, how have you been?
I've been good. I've been getting through a bunch of shows. Saw Nope on Friday. That was pretty cool. Really good movie. And that and just playing some Naraka, and that's been about it.
Nice. Yeah, Nope's been getting a lot of really good reviews, so I'm excited to see it myself. What about you, Sav? What you been up to?
I also saw Nope. Saw it on opening night, and all I have to say about Nope is yes. Yeah, I set that joke up. How was that? But yeah, saw that recently. Been doing a lot of Pokemon stuff recently. Been playing a lot of Unite and VGC recently. Jumping back into Monster Hunter Rise because I've got a couple of streamer friends who've been doing it, and I just hit Twitch affiliate status. So that's been like a super cool personal benchmark.
Yeah.
So drop a follow. But also, but yeah, that's been doing a lot of the streaming and video game content stuff right now. Other than that, just trying to, survive the general state in which we live in, and the fact that it has not been below 100 degrees where I live for going on 3 weeks now.
Yeah, Mother Nature's definitely hitting. She's been hitting lately.
Just don't look up, Sav. You'll be okay.
Don't look up. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we have a great show planned for you guys, and let's get right into those headlines, baby. But first, Dodd, do that dandy.
Whoa.
I think we're going to still call it a dandy.
Can we call them Dotties?
Dotties, yeah, do the Dottie.
Yeah.
Cue music.
Tonight at 11.
I check your job. That was a test of the emergency media warning system.
In other news,
I do the job
Cue music.
So up first in the headlines for this week, Quidditch, the sport is now going to be called quadball in protest of J.K. Rowling's comments. The real-life version of Quidditch, originally from the Harry Potter series, has been renamed quadball due to author J.K. Rowling's stance on the rights and lives of transgender people. The founders of US Quadball, as it's known, announced earlier this week that the name of the game is going to be changed, and with conjuncture with Major League Quadball through numerous surveys. In less than 20 years, the sport has grown from just a few dozen colleges in rural Vermont. I did not know it started in Vermont, but makes sense. The whitest of the white from Vermont. Into a global phenomenon with thousands of players, semi-pro leagues, and international championships, said the USQ executive director, Mary Kimball. They also kind of made this move due to trademark concerns, obviously, but it's kind of just a win-win either way for the quadballers. I think that's what they call themselves, right? And so, the other reason, as they wrote, was that J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, has become, increasingly over scrutiny, but the big one also being copyright. So, this just looks like a double win for the quadball players. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to hurt them with any Potterheads, or do you think this is the right move in the long run?
So I think this. Go ahead, Zeph.
Okay, so I have really mixed, powerful feelings here. I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I think it's very, very important that people
I like
can
the name quad ball.
quad ball sounds cool. It sounds cooler than Quidditch. Quidditch also sounds like maybe an STD from like 1860.
It's more marketable.
Yeah. I got vacation in Quidditch. Like, it's like, how does that really sound? Anyway, but also like, so I very, very much love the continuing steps that like institutions are starting to take to kind of distance themselves from J.K. Rowling, because I'll say it on the internet. I've already said it on the internet. I think she's a kind of a shit human being for the things she said about trans people and trans rights. But also at the same time, like, there's a perspective here that like I can't help but feel a little empathetic towards. Little. I want to emphasize little. But like,
Very
how
small.
much does it mean that you have how much do you have to suck as a person for literally the entire collective world that appreciated your life's work to take it away from you because that's how shitty they think you are? Like, that's powerful.
It is. It's hilarious to think that like they're essentially saying like, we love what you came up with, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that is a powerful statement to how we collectively think shitty the things you said and represent are. Like, that's powerful to me. That's very, very powerful.
Yeah. I also think it's funny how she created something and everyone's like, wow, you created something amazing. You don't deserve to have it. We're going to take it from you.
Right?
No,
Like,
true.
that's pretty powerful. Like,
But I think it's I mean, I like quad ball. Like you guys were saying, quad ball sounds like something I would be more enticed to play than Quidditch anyway. Not saying I'm like against it or anything. I've always kind of fucked with Harry Potter in a way,
Right.
you know. Like grew up with it, you know. But like, I would much rather play quad ball.
I mean, I like quad ball because like it sounds like a really cool sport, but like I just had the thought, like, I'm like, quad ball also kind of sounds like maybe something you shouldn't do in the back of a disco in 1987.
Yeah, me and Chris Farley did some quad balls.
I know, right? Like, that's not the greatest spin on the name, but generally, I guess I like it.
what?
Nice. Yeah, did some quad balls. Did some quad balls with Jim Belushi. But anyway. Well, up next in the headlines, Disney's live-action Hercules movie will get a modern spin on the original story. The live-action Hercules will put a modern spin on the Olympian tale, while also retaining some essential elements from the 1997 animated classic, according to producers Joe and Anthony Russo. Speaking with Games Radar Plus at a recent press event, the Russo brothers discussed their intentions behind creating the live-action adaptation of Hercules. Joe explained that they are approaching the tale from a more modern angle and that they still plan on honoring the original story and evaluating some of the humor from Disney's animated movie in a way that dials it up from 0 to hero levels of laughter.
I did not write that. I did not write that joke.
No. He said that. That's the fucking quote, brother.
Oh.
That's why.
Oh, I thought someone wrote that into the script.
No. That's direct quoted. And so, like, I mean, worth the eye roll. But did you guys eye roll when you heard modern spin as well? Like,
Yeah, I don't. Is this gonna be a CW movie? Like, I'm very confused.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna like CW. Dude, if they do some kind of high school bullshit with Hercules, that is gonna be the end of Disney.
I got 3 requirements out of this announcement for me to be happy and excited. 3 of them.
Mhm.
1, if this is in fact, it's the Russo brothers involved, so I expect a level of visual quality equivalent to that of Avengers Endgame. You have Disney money now too backing you. Like, I expect this to look visually fucking perfect. This is a very high standard just by the nature of who's involved.
Mhm.
B, there better be fucking muses, and there better be 7 of them, and none of them should be white. Like, that is period. Has to fucking happen. And 3, it better still be a musical. So, like, basically, we need Endgame the musical, but with Greek mythology. And if you better check all those boxes for me, otherwise, I'm glad I have a shave in this eyebrow because I literally cannot raise it high enough.
Now, just to see the words "modern spin" on Hercules already kind of like I went straight where Kev did with like, is this going to be some CW kind of shit? Like, what are they going to do here? You know, like what's going to happen? Like, I just like. Like anytime I hear modern spin, it feels like it's going to be set in a high school. I don't know why.
I honestly wasn't even aware this was happening. Like I really wasn't. So like I feel like any of the evaluations we've just made could be correct. And frankly, I'm literally only excited about the exact perfect universe and circumstance I just described. Everything else just makes me want to vomit.
He's gonna be wearing Shane shirts and
I mean, aren't they already doing Percy Jackson and the Olympians? Like, isn't that enough of a modern Greek mythology spin that Disney is doing without having to totally rewrite one of their classics?
No, that's true. I mean, yeah, and Percy's kind of like it is. It's like a teen novel in a way. But what were you saying, Kev?
I was gonna say I don't really have any high expectations. I mean, I haven't seen any of the live action ones just because I've heard they've all been meh, which I'm not surprised by. Like, I just feel like any great animated masterpiece of a movie or show is just hard to replicate live action.
Well, a lot of stuff that
unless it's going on Broadway.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that made it magical usually is parts of the animation, right? Like
it just looked like cheesy, like Will Smith as the genie. Like it just doesn't look good.
Or they CGI the entire thing and still call it live action, like with the Lion King. You know, it's like live action with all voice actors and all CGI, and it's like, how's that live action? Like, how do we get to call it that?
It's just Planet Earth, but the lions talk.
It's not even real animals. Planet Earth at least used real animals.
That's true. Yeah.
Featured Earth.
That's true.
But up next in our headlines, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands player finds a rare 1 in 85 billion chance item. So that's fucking astronomical. Dude should play the
lotto numbers.
Yeah. A decade ago, Gearbox famously marketed its new loot and shooter Borderlands 2 with an eye-catching phrase, 87 bazillion guns. It was a joke, obviously. There's not 87 bazillion guns in it, but the latest entry in the series, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, has recently surfaced a similar eye-catching number. This week, one player stumbled upon a piece of gear that they say is a 1 in 85 billion chance of dropping. Tiny Tina's Wonderland released in March for console and PC, and maintains the series' fucking word that I wrote that I can't read, and raunchy humor and randomized weapon drops.
Raunchy humor.
There you go.
Borderlands streamer Moxie's stumbled upon what players believe is likely the rarest item in the game, and Amalgam Glass mod both ascended and has perfect stat rolls. And I'm sure I've just destroyed all of that, but Sav, you've played some Tiny Tinas. Do you know what the fuck's going on with this story?
Okay, so yeah, I've played Tiny Tina. I've played Borderlands everything except for the Tall Tales storytelling game, Tales of the Borderlands. Like I played everything Borderlands. And so here's the thing about Borderlands items and like their actual rarity percentages is like, so Borderlands has like levels of items. They go from gray to like orange, and like there's like blue, green, purple. They got the color coding system shit too. So like so you have your legendary shit, which is all orange. And then there's like basics, and then there's like stat rolls that like come attached to each one. It's literally like any like gear generation game ever. So technically, I want to point out a big fat huge technically about this claiming to be a 1 in 85 billion item. Technically, based on the number the number of items you can find, their respective rarities, and the respective dice rolls you can get on each of those rarities, technically, any particular one gun or piece of gear you find in Borderlands is technically 1 in 85 billion, because you're never going to roll those exact stat rolls again. So let's just like take that language into perspective here. Now, that being said, I looked at the piece of gear that he got, and fuck all if that's not a great fucking item drop. Don't get me wrong. But it's like saying 1 in 85 billion in a game like Borderlands and how it generates its loot is, to me, kind of like a non-starter. It's a qualification of quality, because mathematically every piece is 1 in 85 billion just because of how fucking like the stat rolls work.
Well, and just like this player got lucky, we just got lucky with a new subscriber. Heyo, thanks, Papa Cantan. Papa Cantan.
Thank you, Riz, for the gift sub to Poppy.
Oh, that was somebody with a gift sub. Oh, my bad, dude. I can't fucking read. You know that. Thank you, Seth.
I'm here to check. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. Thank
Yeah,
you so
my
much,
eyes-
Poppy. Well, welcome, Poppy Can. Welcome,
welcome,
to the
Poppy Can.
show.
Thanks.
Welcome to the stream.
Thanks,
Yes.
Roos, for the gift. But next up in our headlines, Mojang blocks Minecraft NFT support, says they're inconsistent with long-term joy, which, that's fun. Minecraft developer Mojang is making it clear that they will not allow blockchain technology like NFTs to be integrated with this massively popular game, stating the NFTs to be inconsistent with long-term joy and success of our players. As Mojang explains in a new blog post, allowing server owners to implement NFTs integration and play to earn features, which could reward players with NFT forms in the form of in-game skins and items, would take the focus away from playing the game and allowing profiteering. So that's not what Minecraft is all about, Mojang says. The crux of the matter comes down to the fact that allowing players to earn NFT rewards would create an ecosystem of haves and have-nots, which goes against Minecraft's values of inclusion and playing together. Mojang goes as far as to call NFTs against the spirit of Minecraft. So, personally, I love this. I think it's pretty awesome that, one of the largest games in the world is kind of taking a stance against NFTs, because it's a little bit of the Wild West right now.
Very
right?
communist of Minecraft, right?
Well, it's just, I was thinking with Minecraft having such a young audience, it's best to kind of stay away from something that's still very open to scamming right now. I'm not one of those that are completely against and saying like, oh, NFTs are completely stupid, anybody, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, there has been a lot of people there's been a lot of fraud involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think with a game that has probably hundreds of thousands of adolescents players, we should probably just keep anything that involves NFTs as far away from that shit as possible.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Oh,
I agree. I like the fact that some big game companies taking a stand, because I feel like no one likes microtransactions anyway. Everyone hates like the loot box economy and that shit. So like NFTs is just taking that to the next level. And it's like, again, when do they start? I don't know. It doesn't seem necessary.
Yeah. Unnecessary.
Yeah. To your point, Jake, when you pointed out that like the NFT market is so rife with scammability right now, because when you think about it, it's basically a new form of currency. So there's going to be lots of people there that they haven't plugged all the holes of how to like fraudulate. That's not a word. How to defraud that currency. And so basically, if especially something as big as Minecraft says, okay, that is a financial institution we are willing to open up and expose to children, that is literally going to be someone saying through action that like they are completely okay with scamming and robbing actual literal children.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's something that's been, huge in video games. We've talked about microtransactions a billion times on this channel, right? And so like that would essentially be like straight up like, oh yeah, we're just gonna rob children for cute pictures and skins.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Nah, just I'm glad they're keeping NFTs out of it. We got to keep NFTs out of video games in any way, at least until they can figure some more shit out.
We are keeping NFTs out of a lot of things, but video games just. I guess it makes sense, but it's the question of what Dr. Ian Malcolm said. You were so consumed with that you could do it, you didn't ask yourself that you should. Or I butchered that, something like that.
That's a good one.
You're too busy trying to figure out if you could, and you didn't stop to ask yourself if you should.
There you go.
Which is a great question for the final headline, I believe, in this week's, which is Joaquin Phoenix is getting $20 million for the Joker 2. And I mean, just because, we could make a Joker 2, should we make a Joker 2? But Joaquin will be earning a reported $20 million to reprise his role as the Crown... blah, 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 blah. The Clown Prince of Crime in Joker 2. According to Variety, that's a sizable pay bump from the 2019 and the first film, in which he only got paid about $4.5 million. The sequel has not yet begun filming, and very little is known about the movie's plot. In June, new details for Joker had kind of come out, and we had spoke about it previously on this, because there was a possibility, at least from the grapevine, that it could be a musical starring Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Alongside Joaquin Phoenix coming back as Joker. As of June, Gaga was in early talks, reportedly, to appear in Joker 2 and has no deal has been made. However, Warner Brothers and Gaga's team are reportedly deep into the negotiations. Should the deal materialize, Gaga would play a new version of Quinn separate from Margot Robbie's portrayal of the character, obviously. But Joker 2 will be announced again, or will once again be written and directed actually by Todd Phillips, who directed 2018's A Star Is Born, starring Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, Cooper, I think, and then he also produced Joker. The report had no confirmation of the musical angle, though, so I will say that a lot of this is just some false outrage at the moment. But if this is a musical, do you guys feel like we should riot, or are we going to give it a chance?
I mean, I guess give it a chance. I just feel like DC, like they messed up their own IP and universe. That I feel like they're trying to get the juice out of every squeeze now from their IPs. Like, I don't think this needed a second movie. I don't think it's not even part of their universe. I guess I don't know what it is. Give up on that. So I like it. It just seems unnecessary. I think maybe that's why. Maybe they just said, all right, screw the whole DC movie cinematic universe. Like we fucked it up. Like let's just get the most out of our IPs. We'll make another Batman. Nothing's really tied together, and it'll be fine.
They're literally the definition of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And Joker 1, obviously a great movie, right? Like, I think a lot of people could enjoy it for what it was. I thought it was really good. And I thought it was supposed to be a standalone from day one, though. That was kind of like what was sold to me, is that this is like its own thing. It's by itself. It's going to be like, and I was like, I love it for an art piece, right? I don't really know how I'd feel about a musical follow-up. But what about you, Sav?
So, I think asking me who I am as a person, am I going to be excited about a potential Harley Quinn musical starring Lady Gaga is a bit of a trap question. Because the answer is an obvious yes. But, and this is a very tongue-in-cheek point that several people in chat have said, including Little Snelly, a bunch of people was like, anyone who was like begging for a sequel to, I think, was a very good standalone art piece movie just for the sake of it being the Joker. I think they deserve something as like kind of like a gut check as something like a musical. I think that's a great idea. I totally agree with that. They deserve the musical. I think that's hilarious. But also, like, if I have to break it down into certain ways, like maybe it's not a musical per se. Maybe Lady Gaga's version of Harley Quinn, very similarly to how we were introduced to the Joker as him trying to be a stand-up comedian, maybe we are in a parallel way introduced to this version of Harley Quinn as someone like a struggling lounge singer or something, which Lady Gaga could very easily do, and Todd Phillips has already directed her doing in A Star Is Born. So, like, maybe that's the angle here, and if so, still 100% here for it, because Gaga is incredibly talented vocally, and I really think people are kind of maybe underplaying and underestimating her, like, ability to do, like, a dramatic character. Like, I think that's something I'm willing to check out.
I mean, I saw House of Gucci. I went in theaters. I watched it close up, and I saw the accent change multiple times, and I was just like,
part is she actually naturally has that accent. She coached herself out of that accent, and then she tried to recreate it because she couldn't do it anymore. It was
only
weird.
hated on House of Gucci after I thought about House of Gucci. That's how weird it is. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that wasn't too bad. And then, like, after it marinated with me, I was like, man, I fucking hated that movie. But
never saw it.
Didn't
care.
But that'll about wrap it up for the headlines this week. And, now we're going to talk about pretty much all things San Diego Comic-Con related. So buckle the fuck up, nerds. It was a big one. Dodd, do that. Wait, what did we say? Doddle?
Do the Dottie.
Do the Dottie. There we go.
Yeah. Doddles are good, too.
Yeah, Doddle wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
Do we have a mod?
We're just adding extra O's to everything.
There is no Doddle. Okay.
There is no Dottie. We're not Dottieing.
Yeah,
okay.
No more Dotties.
We have that for the next cut, though.
Well,
yeah.
fuck that then. Straight into it. San Diego Comic-Con is an in-person event once again, and promised to bring tons of new announcements, trailers, and more for franchises including Marvel, and more. No, I'm just kidding. Marvel, Lord of the Rings, and Game of Thrones, and a ton more. Right? We've got you covered with all of the highlights. I mean, pretty much everything. We kind of just wanted to at least touch on here in our mod segment. Then we'll probably deep dive into a little bit more of them in the deep dive. And I don't mean probably, we are. That's exactly what the fucking deep dive is. There's a little bit of a foreshadowing for you, right?
Yeah.
But so we've got you covered on everything. It started Thursday, July 21st, and it closes out today, Sunday. Obviously, it's still going on in Cali. Over here in Atlanta, it's already 8:30, so I don't know if they're still announcing anything, but I haven't seen anything new. But it really blasted the doors open with this first look at Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. The first trailer for Honor Among Thieves was packed with everything we love about Dungeons & Dragons, and it had the best Chris Pine. So, did you guys see the Honor Among Thieves trailer? Any thoughts about it right off the bat?
Oh, I have so many thoughts.
Yeah, no, I figured you would.
I have not seen it, no.
What about you, Sav? What are your first thoughts kind of coming out of it?
I think it has the potential to be amazing. I really do. But I can't forget. I just cannot forget about the travesty of that was the 2000 live-action Dungeons & Dragons movie starring one of the Wayans, and it was a mess. But this looks like it's definitely not going to be that. And this looks like it's not going to be that at all. But also, I'm very excited. I'm very excited. The trailer looks absolutely amazing. It looks like it has the right amount of good storytelling, but also equivalent fan services. Like, I'm going through, like, I watched the trailer 3 or 4 times now, and I'm going through and I'm picking out, like, I'm like, oh, that's a that, that's a that, that's a that, that's a that. And it's, that part of me is absolutely loving it. And I'm excited for it. I think they have all the good character archetypes represented. It's going to be fun. I think it's good or bad. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah. So, let's go.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely, I think it was a strong way to start off Comic-Con for sure. Because I mean, I watched it earlier this morning again, and I was just thinking, like, damn, this is gonna be just not even just a good D&D movie, just a good fucking action movie. Like, some of the stuff in it looked incredible. It just looks like a fun movie. So definitely check it out, Kev. I know, like, it definitely you'll like it. Some of the dragon stuff, and Chris Pine as the what is he? What are they called?
He's the bard. He's the bard.
The bard. There you go.
He's a harper specifically, but that's a whole thing we don't have to talk about.
I was trying to think of the the fun D&D name so I could seem like I knew what I was talking about. So yeah, bard.
You.
He's a bard.
I got
he plays
you. I got you.
But then next up, we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Cowabunga Collection has a release date. That's going to be coming out later this year. It looked like a lot of fun. I think it was a compilation of all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games kind of put together. And then we've got Disney's National Treasure TV show got a first look in a trailer. No Nicolas Cage in this, obviously. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but it looks like they're going kind of almost a modern spin on, like they definitely look like it's going a little bit more CW-ish or teen drama-ish with this one, especially since they took out Nick Cage. I guess they're going for a younger audience in this National Treasure show. But have either of you guys got to check out anything from this yet? Not big National Treasure fans, I see. All right.
No, I mean, I'm not. I mean, Nick Cage is great, but he's not,
a National Treasure. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow. I literally I felt the wind go out of me with that joke.
If you didn't care about National Treasure, maybe Andor. Visitors to San Diego Comic-Con can check out costumes from the upcoming Disney Plus Star Wars series Andor, which is going to be streaming August 31st. So there was a lot of really cool costumes and everything that was really announced. And Andor, I mean, itself, I think is something that's kind of, it's got me excited anyway. It's good to see something that's not Tatooine,
Oh, God, thank you.
Oh, Jesus. Every time I see a scene on Tatooine, I feel the need to moisturize, like, everywhere. Like, all of it. And also take a shower, because sand is gross.
All the sand.
It makes me really thirsty, and I feel dusty.
Yeah. I did have one comment about National Treasure. Hang on, I want to call it back to National Treasure. just for a
Circle back
second.
to National Treasure for just a second.
I have one comment, and that is that I guess Disney has to do something that looks like Tomb Raider that isn't Indiana Jones because they're losing those actors because they're aging out, and who cares anymore? So this is their attempt at doing that, I think. But anyway,
We still got to have
no
the
one wants Tatooine anymore either.
Yeah. I'm over
Well,
Tatooine.
another great announcement that come out, and I know I'm at least personally super excited for this one, was Avatar Studios' first movie will focus on the Aang gang. It's going to be Aang and friends, and this is going to be one of the, and this isn't, I don't think this is live action, by the way, because Avatar Studios got the bankroll to do a few different things. I don't know if you guys remember us reporting on that back in the day. There's going to be some, well, no, it is going to be live action. It may
It's
be
like a
live
whole
action.
thing. Like the original creators of the
Yeah.
show, I thought left the Netflix project because they didn't like the direction it was going. Like it was a whole thing.
Then Nickelodeon gave them all the cash to do this Avatar Studios thing, where they were able to kind of like founded their own studio, and they gave them the green light for a bunch of projects. So,
Okay, I missed that part.
but this first one will focus on Aang and the gang, or the Aang gang as it's coined.
Aang gang.
And that's, I mean, I know I'm super excited for it. I've been wanting more Avatar ever since seeing Legend of Korra. Then next up, we had some new Beavis and Butthead clips were shown, and the reaction it had their reactions to BTS, TikToks, and then Mike Judge came out and said that there is a very good chance of King of the Hill coming back as well. So if you guys are big fans of Beavis and Butthead or King of the Hill, which I know I am,
Yeah.
exciting news. Mike Judge always makes good shit. So then the multiverse, or can't talk tonight, I guess. The multiverse revealed new characters, including LeBron James and Rick Sanchez. So that's hype.
Yeah.
We've got a few people in the Discord who have actually been playing multiverse so far, or multiverses. My bad.
You need the extra syllable.
Yeah, I fucked
There
it
you
up.
go.
Multiverses reveals new characters, including LeBron James and Rick Sanchez. The multiverse in MCU also have LeBron James and Rick Sanchez. No, but multiverses
I mean,
though,
yeah, yes.
looking like a decent game so far. I've seen a lot of people kind of like
Getting a lot of streams.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of streams, and so. Have either of you got a chance to play it, or
No, I haven't decided. I was deciding whether or not I wanted to download it, and then I was seeing on Twitch and seeing how popular it was. Like maybe I should, give it a try.
Mochi's saying
Yeah.
that it is a good game, to be honest. So that's
Okay.
awesome. So definitely,
Good
I
to
know it looks like a lot of fun. I'm a Smash fan, so
Yeah.
anytime you can kind of like throw Smash games in there with all these kind of DC or WB characters, I'm sold. So
Yeah.
I've liked all the Smash mechanic games I've played, like between Smash Brothers. I played PlayStation All-Stars when that came out on like PS3, only because it had the BioShock Big Daddy character in it. That was my favorite.
yeah.
But like honestly, like if I've seen enough people's whose opinions I respect as streamers and gamers play multiverses and say that they like it and they enjoy it, that like I'm becoming more willing to check it out. Like that's
Yeah.
where I'm at on that. It isn't Harley Quinn, I think, is a character. Like is
think so.
and honestly, like cool,
No,
I got a character to
Batman
play
is.
with.
Yeah, I know for a fact Batman is, and I'm assuming they would go ahead and drop in like your more famous Batman characters in there, like
Yeah.
Harley,
Yeah.
Joker.
Yeah. Because I remember her coming out in a game, like a brawler style game, and I couldn't remember if it was like some Warner Brothers
this
thing or if it was this or what.
Injustice. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that is technically correct, but
Yes.
we both know not the answer I was looking for.
Another big one that came out of Comic-Con was the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power new trailer revealed the creation of Balrog. Yeah, okay, I got that right. You're right. I'm a fucking nerd. That's nice. I knew that. I knew that the whole time. I knew it was Balrog. The latest trailer gives us an even better look at Middle-earth during the Second Age, including where the show will find the dwarves, elves, hobbits, and humans. And oh yeah, it may possibly could have given us our first look at Sauron. So that first kind of like glimpse trailer, I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out, but this Lord of the Rings, the power or the Rings of Power on, I think it's going to be on Amazon. Yeah, on Amazon. It's actually it's not looking bad in my opinion. Like I'm actually I'm going to temper my expectations a little bit, right? Because, I haven't really seen anything. Well, no, Amazon has The Boys and a bunch of good shit. Never mind.
Mhm.
This may be good, guys. This may be good. We're going to have to eat crow and say it's going to be good. But Next up, Gremlin's Secret of the the Magwai or the Morgwai? Mogwai, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Gremlin Secret of the Mogwai confirms Randall Park casting, which awesome. This whole cast looks really good, by the way.
I love me some Gremlins.
I love Gremlins too. I'm glad
I
they're
love Randall
expanding
Park.
this.
Like,
Yeah, and I love
hilarious.
Randall Park. Yeah,
He's
and
hilarious.
him too.
but Gremlins, that's and I think this is animated, which okay, I'll still check it out. But like,
Right.
I'm excited just to have more Gremlins stuff in general, man. It's been
Yeah.
forever, and it's a great IP. So I'm glad they're expanding it.
It's one of the forgotten like 80s, 90s movies that doesn't get talked about enough. People see Gizmo and they're like, they don't know what he is. I'm like,
Dude,
it's Gizmo.
I saw the creators came out and even said that they know for a fact that they're saying that Baby Yoda was a complete ripoff of Gizmo.
Oh, I remember
And,
that.
like,
Yeah.
I've seen several
I think
comedy
they're
bits.
suing
about
one
this.
for
right?
one,
Like-
you're like, yeah, like I see it. I can kind of see
Yeah.
it, but then I mean, Baby Yoda, love him too. So
Yeah. I mean, they didn't say anything about Furbies, right? Or maybe they did. I don't know.
But The Walking Dead got a new trailer, the premiere date for the final season. So Jesus, the Walking Dead. We started talking about The Walking Dead when this was a radio show in college. Like whenever it had kind of like premiered on AMC and was actually still good. So it's crazy that the final season is just now coming out in 2023. So next year, or actually, I believe
That
it's
is
gonna be this year.
crazy.
The spinoff with
I was
Andrew
about to say,
Lincoln's Rick Grimes and Michonne is actually going to be in 2023. So they're going to keep it going. So Walking Dead's not dead. Just
No.
The Walking Dead, the actual like beginning series that we watched, that's kind of like become whatever the fuck it is today. It's
the
dying.
main show is dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read the comics.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Comics, and I watched the first season of the show, and I decided, nah.
I like
then-
I like the show, but it just started getting repetitive. Like
Yeah.
it goes somewhere, it gets overrun by zombies, and they start walking for like 10 episodes, and they get somewhere new, they clean it up, kill zombies, and it gets overrun by zombies, and it's just like
Oh, dude, it's the same thing, rinse and repeat. So,
yeah.
but then, I mean, not necessarily rinse and repeat because I'm not going to call it that because I know I'm excited for this one. We got John Wick 4 trailer that dropped.
Yes.
So we're getting another John Wick. That's going to be great.
National
then,
Keanu
Prey,
Reeves. The actual
new
National
Predator
Treasure.
screened to audiences in San Diego Comic-Con ahead of its streaming release August 5th on Hulu. So another big one that came out as far as like that. Two ones, like you said, John Wick. I mean, they can keep these movies going. Give me more Keanu.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like it's
But that'll wrap it up. Kind of like, before I wrap it up, what do you guys think about John Wick and anything on Prey? I guess. Do we need another Predator movie?
Yes, because I'm a glutton for punishment. I've always liked the Alien Predator franchise, but they've
yeah.
just been fucking killing it, and not in the worst way. Like they're actually killing the
Yeah,
franchise.
they're literally killing the
Yeah,
franchise.
Literally killing it.
Like, and it's just, I'm just like, just get back to the roots of like the horror and the suspense. And,
No,
it
the
looks
original
like they're
Predator
doing that.
was great.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
they're doing it with this one. Like they're going like that's why they flipped it. Or like instead of the Predator, it's the Prey, which I mean, it's the same.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Prey.
Yeah.
Cautiously
I'm
optimistic.
I'm cautiously optimistic, and honestly, I'm excited because a particular detail that I heard, obviously, it's very much rumor, but apparently, like, there's only like of the entire breadth of the film, there's only like 15 combined minutes of dialogue, because
Ooh.
like so much, because like
So much.
you
is
don't
just
need to talk to someone when you're being hunted by a thing in the forest by yourself.
That's facts. That's facts. You
So,
should probably
and-
shut up.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna, and I think a lot of people are gonna be, I think a lot of people who would go to a movie like Predator are going to be bothered by it because they'll feel bored.
Probably. It's
But
going to be
I
really good.
personally, I
but-
think it's going to be fantastic, and it's really going to add to the suspense that Kev was talking about. Like part of like those reasons why they were so like iconic in the first place.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And so I think like going back to the basics, that's going to be really good. And then not going back to the basics and continuing to ramp it up with John Wick 4. That's all we want out of that, right? Like just some kind of new action, new shit, gung fu, if you will. And
I
so-
just want another John Wick movie.
It's simple, it's satisfying to watch, and you feel good.
Exactly. Just good, clean action, fun.
Good
murder
clean
mayhem.
murders.
That's
Yeah.
very dirty. It's
Well,
not clean
DC,
at all.
DC had
Very
to
good.
kind of like at least pop its head up at San Diego Comic-Con, of course, even though they usually do the DC Fandom. But we still got a good look at Shazam: Fear of the Gods. We got its first full trailer. Black Adam's new trailer showed Justice Society's Atom Smasher, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Hawkman, which we kind of already got a look at those guys, but this one kind of gave a better one. And then the Sandman reveals trailer, exclusive clip and new poster. And Gotham Knights gameplay trailer shows off a little bit of Batgirl. Was there anything that kind of stuck out to you guys as far as the DC announcements? I know the Shazam and the Black Adam trailers are really great, but anything that kind of like you wanted to highlight out of DC's announcements?
I am excited for. I think we kind of already. Oh no, the second season to the '97 X-Men.
Oh, that's a Marvel.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
We're in DC right now.
You're right. No, I got nothing.
Um,
Well, how about you, Steph? Are you excited for the Shazam, Black Adam? What about Sandman? I know. I'm personally excited for Sandman. The trailer looks phenomenal.
I got some thoughts on Shazam and Black Adam that we'll cover a little bit later in a deep dive question. I know because I wrote the script. But I'm excited to see it. I love Shazam. I loved the first Shazam. I felt like it brought a sense of levity and not dark camera filter that the DCEU desperately needed at the time. I'll just leave that there. But
Just a fun color palette movie.
Yes.
Yes. A movie with any color palette. Anyway.
I don't know. Vivid.
But I am very, very excited for Sandman. Sandman has been one of my favorite comic book series for the longest time. Neil Gaiman is one of my favorite writers ever, and one of my most prized possessions is a volume of the Sandman series that he signed. Like, I am very, very excited for this series. I am insanely excited for Gwendolyn Christopher's Lucifer. Suck it, toxic fanboys. I'm insanely excited for every single casting choice that is made in that series, and we got to see hits of all of them in this trailer. And here. This is I can't use words because I'm not excited.
Take all my money. Like, just very excited to see it. But I know, I mean, speaking of excitement, we kind of got a really huge announcement, and I know, Sav, you were going to kind of run through it. We had all of Marvel's Phase 5 revealed. So, Sav, can you hit the folks with some of the highlights from Marvel's Phase 5 that was revealed?
Okay, I'm going to give you the bullet point list of just everything that was released, and then we can break it down from there. But just in order, the things that we got and the dates they were released. We had, beginning, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, set for February 17th, 2023. Secret Invasion, set for sometime spring-summerish, 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, confirmed for May 6th of 2023. Echo, summer of 23. Loki Season 2, summer of 23 as well, after Echo likely. We have The Marvels, July of 23. We have Blade, with November of 23, and Ironheart ambiguously as the fall of 2023. So that might fall before Blade, it may not. Who knows? We also had Agatha and now the Coven of Chaos, originally titled House of Harkness. We can speculate on the name. We can speculate. I have particular speculation on that name change, which we can also jump into probably in the deep dive. But just to keep us going, we got Daredevil Born Again, a Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock in his own 18-episode series for spring of 2024. Not 220. Anyway, not 20,000 years in the future. You heard me. Captain America with the confirmed title New World Order, starring Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson for May 3rd of 2024, and then confirmation of a Thunderbolts film for July 26th of 2024. Okay, that's the full list. Now we can go through what each one of those was. Let's go.
Now, I'm really excited for, well, they're kicking off Phase 5, obviously, with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the deep dive as far as, what's all going to be in that one. But I'm definitely excited for a new Guardians, Loki Season 2. Jesus, come on. Loki Season 1 was so phenomenal. And fucking Blade, baby, let's go.
Yeah, so we had that whole bulleted list. Those are the bulleted lists. Now we can actually go through our talking points for the Marvel reveals because they came so prepared.
Yeah, dude. Like I said at the top of the show, this was basically the Marvel show. But we also got the I Am Groot trailer, and that revealed the first look of the adorable Guardians of the Galaxy spinoff. But this is actually going to be 5 episodes, I believe. But then they're saying there could be 5 more in the future or an additional wave of episodes. It's going to be, it looked adorable. I don't know about what you guys think, but I thought it was super cute looking.
Oh, 100%.
Marvel's What If Season 2 was announced for an early 2023 release date alongside with Season 3's confirmation as well. I really love this, where executives get to watch something and then go, fuck, that was good. Give it another season, and we don't even get to see it yet. They did it with like The Boys. They did it with like, it's one of those where I always like it. I feel like whenever I hear that, like, they've announced it, and guess what? We already got the next season that we're going to roll up too. So,
and that's very rare. They don't do that.
It doesn't happen often. Yeah, no, I think you not only have to have audiences bought in, but you have to have executives bought in. Like, so they're really excited for What If, which I mean, animated stuff's easy to make. Or easier, I would say, than the live action, especially when it comes to fucking Marvel movies. You know what I mean? Like, these things are, multi-million-dollar films, and so it's a lot easier for them to do some animated stuff. And that first season of What If, chef's kiss, I loved it.
That was good.
And speaking of What If, Marvel Zombies on Disney Plus is going to be full of the gore and splatter that you'd want from a zombie show. It's going to kind of come from that What If universe. I don't know if it's 100% confirmed that it's going to be in the exact one that we saw, but it's going to be in a Marvel zombie universe kind of in a way.
Nice.
Another one of their animated ones coming out was Spider-Man Freshman Year is going to arrive on Disney Plus in 2024 and will feature Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Not 100% sure what role he's going to be in it, but this is going to be another really, like, I mean, it looks as if it's going to be if Peter Parker had met Norman or Oswell or
Osborn.
There you go, Norman Osborn, instead of Doc Ock, right? And so really interesting kind of like twist on the story. I'm pretty sure the comics have covered it before, but it'll be nice to see how it plays out. She-Hulk and the Black Panther will conclude Phase 4 of the MCU, and then obviously Phase 5 was revealed. Daredevil Born Again announced during San Diego Comic-Con. We had already said that one. Blade announced. The new She-Hulk trailer came out. I thought that looked pretty good. I mean, I'm not a huge, like, I'm not going to completely shit on its CGI just yet. It doesn't look that bad to me, but I mean, I'm like such a pushover when it comes to stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm too nice to shows, I feel like.
I think anybody who complains about She-Hulk CGI really needs to go back and watch the Eric Bana Hulk and then just shut up. Because we've come so far, whatever, it looks fine. Anyway, the thing I'm excited about is it finally got me. This trailer is the one that got me and sold on the show because it got the thing that I've been wanting out of a Marvel series for such a long time, and I thought Love and Thunder would give me, but didn't. And that is it had some fucking charm to it. Like, I'm like, this looks entertaining. It looks entertaining. Like, this seems fun. Let's go.
Got some nice fourth wall breaks too. I thought like right off the bat, I thought that was nice. That's one thing that She-Hulk has in common with Deadpool that a lot of people, if you're not a big comic guy, you may not know that, but She-Hulk does break the fourth wall a lot. And so it was nice to see it actually in the show as well. And even fucking Mark Ruffalo had to turn around and be like, who are you talking to?
Right.
And she's like, what? I'm like, okay, let's go.
But the really cool thing about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, gave us kind of a first look of Kang the Conqueror with Cassie Lang and MODOK. So I know Dawson was super happy about that. I mean, MODOK's fucking awesome, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Marvel's Secret Invasion is coming to Disney Plus next spring. With this and Quantumania, are we finally going to be getting a confirmation of Young Avengers?
Fucking better be. Okay. I wrote that comment because I wanted to say that on the internet again. This has to be a setup that they're doing. It has to
setup for Young Avengers. Yeah, it feels like it.
We'll explore this later, but that to me is one of those blank, huge, open spots on the Phase 6 timeline that we saw. Like, that has to be one of those spots.
Well, we also got Captain America: New World Order is going to be coming in 2024, and I thought this was a really good one. It was Chris Evans kind of like even tweeted out, like making it clear, like Anthony Mackie is Cap, and that's who's Cap in that movie, guys. Like, I don't know what you guys think, but
Like, I'm done. There's
yeah, I'm
left.
done. And so, but Captain America: New World Order is going to be in 2024, so that'll be fun. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3's new trailer showed off at Comic-Con, confirmed Nebula as the arc, VA for Cosmo, like we got the voice actor for that one, cast deaths, and fillings on Pratt's last lead film and his red carpet tears. So this is going to be kind of the last one that Chris Pratt's going to be at the helm of, I guess is what they're pretty much getting at, or what we're kind of like getting the feel for this one. And so I guess Star-Lord dies. Anyway, spoiler.
It's supposed to be Chris Pratt's and Zoe Saldana's like last main entry film in like the MCU,
which is sad. I've loved the Guardians. It's been one of my favorite parts of the MCU. So
James Gunn's had some very touching remarks about it on the red carpet. Chris Pratt got very emotional, and I even had to acknowledge it was pointed out to me earlier. It's like, even though I don't think he's the greatest of people, like this is a very important project to him. It's a very important part of his work, and it was work that was very good. So like, his reaction was very genuine. It was very emotional.
Yeah. Well, and then Marvel's Echo with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio returns to confirm as well. Loki season 2. Sylvie seen on set in vintage McDonald's uniform, so there's that. Where do we see Loki fitting into Phase 5 as a whole? Basically, and then Ironheart and Agatha series all get narrow release dates. So then we're almost done. MCU's Phase 6 will begin with Fantastic Four, end with Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and the Avengers: Secret Wars. Kevin Feige confirms that the Russo brothers not attached to the Avengers title, so these are going to be completely kind of like directed by fresh blood, at least as far as an Avengers title is concerned. And then Black Panther: Wakanda Forever got its trailer with some plot details, and I thought that was a pretty awesome kind of trailer to really nail in that this was a Marvel dominated Comic-Con. They literally were everywhere, guys. But I mean, a lot of stuff obviously kind of listed off there. I didn't want to kind of, I knew we talked about a little bit as we were going, but are there any other things that we kind of want to circle back on? Anything that you're super excited for? I know we're going to get into things deeper in the deep dive, but just right off the top.
I mean,
I got some stuff for the deep dive, but it's a lot to digest all those. I mean, especially with the Marvel stuff. So excited for it all.
Dude, the Phase 6 announcements with that Fantastic Four kind of like kicking it off, huge. And then Secret Wars to end it. Oh man, that's gonna be a lot of fun. And then
I feel kind of bad for these like $1 million studios who are trying to put out these huge projects like Lord of the Rings, for instance, and House of Dragons. Is that what the game is? See, I don't even know. I'm so bad at this. Like, I feel really bad because like HBO and Amazon are putting millions and millions and millions of dollars in time and years and years and years of production into these things, just to be totally dusted. Like, I felt like their reception was not nearly as monumentally or hugely received as anything as Marvel contributed.
I'm like, this is completely honest. Like, I'm gonna let everybody who's watching know, like, I tried my best to pull as much information that wasn't Marvel related out of fucking San Diego Comic-Con. It's hard. Marvel, like, for somebody who was maybe not gonna show up, showed the fuck up and heavy. And so they definitely came out with a lot of awesome trailers, a lot of really big news. I mean, they really killed it on every panel. DC was like, hey, we've got 2 things, maybe. But, oh, man, Marvel really...
It's like, we really kind of had our own shit going on. Like,
the
whole Warner Brothers thing. And... Ugh.
Yeah. But... Any last comments or anything on, especially the big announcements coming out of Comic-Con?
I mean, nah. I think we're gonna dive into all the really juicy stuff here.
Cool.
Dive, so.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the first half of the show. As we've been kind of alluding to, though, don't go anywhere. When we get back, we're going to be talking more about San Diego Comic-Con, but not necessarily just the general announcements. We're going to try to get into that nitty-gritty. What does some of this shit mean? What do these announcements even mean for the overall, I mean, basically the MCU? Yeah, because that's the biggest thing, right? And then just talk about, what they mean to us as well, right? San Diego Comic-Con coming back was kind of a big deal. It's been gone for a little while, so it's nice to finally have it back. Hopefully next year more people will get prepared for it. But then we're going to be wrapping things up with our the top 10 moments from San Diego Comic-Con 2022. So stick around. We've got a ton of more show coming right after the break. We'll be back in 5, baby. Cool. Well, and we're back. Well, obviously a lot was announced this weekend, from Lord of the Rings to a whole ass MCU phase laid out in front of us. We got information overload this year. So tonight we're going to be shooting the shit, diving deep into just that, the goods, the bads, everything that came out of Comic-Con, what we love about it, and just kind of like what some of it means, right? So Dodd, do that doddle. Dotty. Marvel Presents San Diego Comic-Con was packed. Joking, but honestly, this did feel like a Disney Expo. We had a ton of announcements from 5 and 6, from Phase 5 and 6. Obviously, we kind of just like mentioned a bunch of them. But is there anything we really want to kind of like dive into?
I mean, I think the most interesting part of their phase lineup is how much of it was empty. Like, they left some big old gaps. And I think they're leaving. And I think they're doing that because, who knows what further properties they may buy, purchase, and want to integrate into this. Yeah. Because, I mean, there aren't many attached to Marvel they don't own yet, but there's still like a few of them out there, and they're just picking them up as they go.
No, 100%. I mean, 6, obviously, we only got a little bit of, right? We only got what it'll kind of start with and finish with. They didn't lay it out as exactly as a timeline that we got for Phase 5, right? Yeah. And so, but yeah, I mean, it did definitely look like there was a few holes in there. And, like you said, could that be for more possible projects or stories? I know that we saw already the name change from Agatha All Along, or Agatha.
It was House of Harkness.
There you go. And that one got switched up to more of a coven, right? So
I have a theory. So changing it to something to Coven of Chaos is, I think as a fan conspirator and fanboy, I think that is a potential, based on audience reaction engagement. I think that is a potential integration for bringing Wanda back earlier than an unlisted and rumored potential solo project. Because Coven, more than one witch. Coven of Chaos, literally witches of chaos magic. And that's my theory there. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but you know what? I'm allowing myself a modicum of hope here.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it too.
Anyway, those are my powerful feelings on all Marvel mystical properties.
I think you just explained it. I think I have no further questions. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Well, what do you guys think makes San Diego Comic-Con, I guess, just getting to the con as a whole, right? What makes it different than other fan expos? We haven't had it, I think, since COVID, right? So this is what, going in 2-3 years almost. And so what makes San Diego Comic-Con different than Fandom, D23, I mean, all of the other cons that we get out there?
I think it's this is this nerd Super Bowl. Because it has a little bit of everything, like E3's all games. Things like Awesome Con are mostly comic books. There's so many other conventions, but this is the pinnacle. I think this it has comic books, which is really the foundation of nerd culture. If we're being honest, it's comic books, and then from that you have movies that are about superheroes or not. And you have games, and you have comics. It's a whole there. It's nerdvana of
Nerdvana.
it's yeah.
Nerd.
That's a good way to put it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, because I think
as far as announcements and spectacle is concerned,
100%. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody on this show would ever turn down a chance to go. Like
absolutely.
Comic-Con's one of the few cons that it's just like, fuck yeah, I will be there no matter what. Like, I mean, obviously everybody on this show would probably go to any con we got invited to, right? But like, you know what I mean as far as like San Diego Comic-Con is like it's the pinnacle of kind of like the cons, at least in my head anyway.
Yeah.
I would say E3 is a good one, but like you said, it's more video games. Whereas Comic-Con kind of covers a little bit of everything. We got stuff from John Wick to fucking Lord of the Rings in this one, right? So
Yep.
I mean, if someone just say, "Hey, I want to sponsor a trip for you to go to San Diego Comic-Con," I would not question that at all. Morally, legally, like, you got it. Let's go. Like,
and it says, I saw in one of your notes the cosplay, and that is true.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con, it has stepped up tremendously.
from what I know, and for the people who I know in the cosplay community, like, just exactly, it's exactly what Kev said. Like you can do cosplay at any con anywhere, but like the San Diego Comic-Con cosplay, that is your like Westminster dog show. Like that is where you go. Like if you want to show off the cool like articulating Iron Man like full scale suit you've been building for the past 7 years, you're gonna do that at a San Diego Comic-Con. Like that is the one you're gonna do it at. Like.
Yeah, we saw some amazing looks this year.
Amazing looks this year.
People really go all out. You have to.
I mean, some of these people put 3 years of work into their costumes because there hasn't been a Comic-Con, like a San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, how do you guys think it's been able to kind of survive? Despite production studios each trying to make their own platforms. We've seen, like I mentioned earlier, DC's Fandom is kind of like something that did itself. We've even got like in video games competing with E3. Microsoft's been doing its own thing. Nintendo Direct's been doing their own thing. And so, how do you think San Diego Comic-Con is going to continue to survive, and how can it thrive with all of these guys kind of doing their own thing? What do you think, Steph?
I think one of the biggest reasons it's been able to survive, I guess, is because it has still been that sort of catch-all nerd umbrella. Like, I would love to go to San Diego Comic-Con over something like Fandom or D23.
Yeah.
Don't misunderstand. I'm happy to go to any of the above, should anyone maybe want to sponsor a trip to one of those events. But, like, San Diego Comic-Con is like, I feel like I can go there as both a Marvel fan, a DC fan, and an anime fan, and a comic book fan, as opposed to having to if I go to this show, like, I can't make any positive comments about Marvel because it's a DC property bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like it is. It is the Nerdvana is really good. Like that was really great. I like
That's our new band name, by the way. We're gonna
Nerdvana.
we're done with we're just gonna do geek covers of geek parodies of Nirvana songs.
I'm here for that. Yeah.
And so,
I mean,
what do you think, Kev? How do you think that San Diego Comic-Con's been able to survive despite these guys kind of pulling away from it?
It's like it's a tradition like any other. It's the masters of comic books, and it's it's the Super Bowl. It's the whatever sports analogy of the crowning pinnacle of spectacle for nerd culture. This is what it is. And I think unless like. And the thing about nerd culture too is what you gotta understand. It's not like it's gonna go away. It's just because people understand what it is. It's timeless tradition. Get your costumes. Like that's why tickets are sold out every year. Even before when Marvel and DC were still doing their own thing, Comic-Con sales weren't slipping. I'm sure they lose some form of revenue one way or another, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think it's really gonna go anywhere unless like the world ends. Even then, I think Comic-Con's still going to be here around, like just Mad Max through the desert to get to Comic-Con and, stuff.
Showing off instead of Mad Max cosplays, it's like normal office job cosplays.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Chuck Paul, would you Mad Max your way to a Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If I had to. They probably have bottles of water, So.
I'd hope so.
It's actually all just really flat Mountain Dew. Or Pepsi Crystal that
it's
somehow
all
survived.
Expired Code Reds.
Right.
Oh
yes.
yeah. Because it does turn white after a while. That color pigment breaks down.
Oh man, does it really? That'd be insane.
Yeah.
Turns out that's what Pepsi Crystal was all along, guys.
There you
But
go.
I
you
just
guys,
read number 4, baby.
do you guys feel like reveals at a convention seem to carry more impact than they do with like a direct media release? Like, do you feel like it's a little bit more exclusive, or like it kind of adds to the hype or anything? And especially whenever you can kind of meet the cast and production in person, right? Because a lot of these trailers were done at full-on panels.
Right. I think it depends. I think like sometimes like when there's like a slow news day, you drop a bombshell, then yeah, everyone sort of ears perk up. But all eyes are on this convention, so whatever you drop, I think it's just going to be hyped up, and everybody's already hyped up for everything anyway. So I think just by nature, it's going to be amplified. Just in that, like the magnitude is just going to be unmatched on just a normal Tuesday.
I think they carry more weight,
Yeah.
really similarly to what I've just said. Like, I think they carry more weight because it sort of gets you the it gets you the hype, and you're the person who got to see it first.
Yeah.
And like, even though these things like never stay truly exclusive, like we'll eventually get the same Guardians of the Galaxy trailer footage that they debuted in Hall H in like what, a month,
Right.
maybe.
We'll
If it
get
takes
it a little
that long. But like, I think it's just being able to say that like you were there in the room with the first group of people who got to see it, like in any sort of public setting, like that. I think that the weight of that is why these sort of convention reveals and these sort of Hall H exclusives will always carry more weight than like a direct media release. Like, especially if you pull out a surprise exclusive. Like, come on.
Like, I think we had Bill Murray come out on the Ant-Man, the panel, and everybody was just like, "What the fuck?" Like, we gotta have Bill Murray and Ant-Man.
Like a midnight trailer drop is never gonna do the same thing that did. Even if it's an unexpected Bill Murray cameo, like, because like you just saw him live on stage before anybody else knew he was gonna be there. Like, that's cool. That's cool.
And before we even got to see the trailer or anything, right? Like, we don't get to see anything, but yet we're excited for it because Bill came out, and then that gets in the news, and then we're
like,
all talking about it. Yeah.
Right.
And so, like, I think the panels and having, celebrities able to come out and stuff like that and add to what we're about, or what they're about to watch with the trailer, even, it just kind of like is what makes Comic-Con, especially like, or these live conventions in general, it kind of what's solidified them and like nerddom is like where we kind of want these trailers and stuff to come from. Like, we don't mind a surprise one at midnight every now and then, but like I do feel like there is an extra level to it whenever we get to actually meet from the cast and crew, even, and they get to kind of give some background and stuff. But maybe I'm just one of those guys that likes director's notes and shit like that,
No, I mean, like, it's insight. Like, that's cool.
But I guess kind of what didn't we see?
So, I mean, that's almost really hard to answer because we saw so much.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like there's a lot of kind of like almost white noise of announcements. But like, things that stuck out to me were like, we saw, say, like on the DC side, on their very limited showing, we saw something from the Gotham Knights game. We saw the Batgirl trailer and reveal. But like, they were complete crickets when it came to the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League game, which is being done by the same studio who did the Arkham games.
Like August, I think. Like,
and
it's supposed to come out soon.
It was supposed to come out before, and we've heard nothing since like the last trailer they released at Fandom. So that was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, and also on DC's note, like, Blue Beetle. Where was Blue?
Nelly just started off in chat with Blue Beetle, and I mean, we made a whole "what the fuck" Blue Beetle, or who the fuck is Blue Beetle, just because we anticipated some Blue Beetle news.
Well, we know a trailer's
and we didn't get any Blue Beetle news.
Like, there is a produced trailer. There's a final cut trailer out there. They have shown it to people, but it hasn't technically been released to the public, and they didn't show it at Comic-Con. Like, what are they waiting for?
Do you think they don't? Do you think they don't believe it's like up to the same sort of magnitude as some of these other announcements? Do you think they're more like, this will probably just get lost, we'll save this for another day, so it's not, as you mentioned, caught up in the white noise of announcements? I
mean, like, Marvel's got 57 cards in their deck, and you've got 6, and you're choosing to leave one at home. Like,
that's true. That's
facts.
I don't get it.
They really,
but also, we're not surprised because DC, just as we notice how Warner Brothers operates, they're not the most they're not the most tactical when it comes to things like this. Like,
They do drop the ball a lot.
And maybe that leads into speculation as to why they were possibly so absent at this particular convention. Is like they've gone through so much strife right now, like and especially with like most recent announcements, like within the past like 24 to 48 hours, isn't that like Warner Brothers execs have officially said that they are no longer moving forward and have no plans to move forward with any Zack Snyder related content. Like,
so,
period.
Fun fact about that. Zack Snyder apparently wasn't even supposed to originally, take over the DCU. They wanted Christopher Nolan to do it, but then Christopher Nolan kind of backed out halfway through Man of Steel, and they're like, "Well, we got you, Zack Snyder. Here you go. Here are the keys. It's yours now." And then they kind of screw him over, and every fan now. Then there's the rumblings of the Snyder cut, and saying Warner Brothers dropped the ball.
That's his whole great deep dive.
Right, but the funny thing about that is that apparently there's this whole like bot situation that was driving the sort of momentum behind Snyderverse. So it's just like DC themselves, like their operational efficiencies is not too great. So I'm not surprised that they just showed up with like a couple popsicle sticks glued together, and Marvel came in with the whole exploding volcano.
The dog ate their homework.
Exactly. Yeah.
The dog ate their homework.
It definitely looks that way. I mean, we got the Black Adam and the Shazam trailers, and we'll talk a bit about what that means for the DCU. But did you guys happen to notice though? And I thought that was pretty funny in the Black Adam or the Shazam trailer that he said the Flash, right? It was like there's already a superhero with a red suit and a lightning bolt, and it showed the Flash, but only from the back. It only showed like the back of it. It would not show who was the Flash, right?
Well,
It was clearly a clip, shot with Ezra Miller, but then they aren't going to be the Flash anymore. So like, it's one of those where like I thought it was pretty funny that the DCU is still kind of like, because they clearly showed Aquaman. Jason Momoa, they're all in.
Yeah, could you imagine if it turned around and it was Ezra Miller, but it was like an accident and they forgot to cut that clip out, and it's just...
they forgot to cut it out. Oh man, that would have been if it would have been Ezra, I would have had questions. I feel like you know what I mean? Because they're going through a lot right now, and I don't know if that's the Flash.
I think they very intentionally left the face of that character off in the event of a necessary recast, because DC has already also said that they are not moving forward with Ezra Miller in any other film projects past the Flash.
They should just make it Grant.
So
I think he's a great Flash.
Absolutely, 100% agree. But like, so if that turns out to be Ezra Miller's Flash, I think that's going to be post-credit, like already shot, post-edited, like footage that's spliced in. If we don't see a recast.
Yeah, I feel like for the Shazam trailer, that was Ezra Miller's Flash, but they just didn't want to show the face. That was some other like film they had. But we're not going to see Ezra Miller's Flash again. But what did the Black Adam, between Black Adam and Shazam's trailers, what did that mean for the DCU? Did you guys see anything besides like Hawkman and a few of the other folks that kind of like, we roughly mentioned at the top, that we could actually see some more expansion into this DCU, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Sam's not sold. What do you think, Sam?
I see the roadmap of an uncertain future. I think DC isn't sure right now, and not just DC, but like Warner, like the powers of Warner Brothers that be, are sure what direction they want to continue in, if any, for a shared film universe, or if they want to try and start doing more standalone stories. Because my reasoning is
multiverse or whatever,
my reasoning to this is that like you can kind of technically assume that the Snyderverse contains things like Shazam, for instance, but also at the same time, like outside of like some like conversational asides and some like one maybe Henry Cavill cameo, never shows his face. Like we can assume that like these characters exist in Shazam, but we like, other than like cameos that he mentions and it, like I guess his trailer, like we don't really see much connectivity between things like Shazam to the rest of the Snyderverse.
They haven't. Yeah,
like it's adjacent at best. and other than some like what I picked up, and it very, and I could easily be wrong, is there's maybe a connective character in this Shazam trailer that might connect it to Black Adam, which obviously makes sense because they both deal with the Rock of Eternity and the Lightning Bolt Wizard shit.
Yeah.
But like, it seems to me like they are the Shazam and the Black Adam like entity that they're creating seems to be sort of separating itself kind of passively or otherwise from like the rest of what DC has made as its film universe. And it's always made me very curious as to why.
Yeah, this was kind of the first time that, and because we saw, and we've only really seen it in the trailer, I guess, which I haven't seen Shazam in a while, but from what I remember, anyway, like there really wasn't a ton of mention of other heroes, right? Well, this was like the first time in this trailer that he was like, there's already an Aquaman, there's already a Batman, there's a bad guy, like
there's a Batarang in the first Shazam movie, which may or may not be real.
So that's pretty much like they came out in this Shazam one and almost, named every member of the Justice League, so they kind of like, definitely wanted to put it with that Snyderverse, and they even had Ben Affleck as the Batman, right? And so. But then we've yet to see, like, I guess them really expand this universe out, and maybe we will now with Black Adam and some of this other stuff. And we do have another Aquaman movie coming. They really enjoyed Jason Momoa. I mean, I enjoy some Jason Momoa, so I see that. But yeah, so I mean, there's they just definitely didn't have a lot going for them at this Comic-Con though. This was about it. I mean, I'm excited for Black Adam too. I definitely think The Rock's going to be great. But then the other DC one to come out was Sandman, and but this, where does this even fit in the DCU though?
So
I'm assuming you may know more.
I'm just gonna keep steamrolling my way through the DC facts. Sorry, y'all. Sandman has always been sort of like on the mystical and esoteric side of DC. Like, it's kind of like it technically exists within the DC universe, but it's sort of like apart from its main like functional realm.
Like Constantine.
Yes, a lot like Constantine. In fact, like there's a lot of there has been some overlay there through characters like Lucifer, but like the biggest, like, if you're like in current DC like comic fandom knowledge, like the closest connection you'll get to Sandman is where Orpheus, or Dream, the main character of the Sandman series, he is actually one of the sort of grand universal beings of oversight that's explaining what's happening at the events of Dark Knight Metal, when like these dark multiverses are starting to collide with each other and invade ours. Well, he's one of the beings who's like, hey y'all, this shit's kind of happening right here, and like maybe someone should do something about it. But yeah, like you also have characters like John Constantine, who also, interesting thing about this trailer is John Constantine has actually been recast as Johanna Constantine, played by Jenna Coleman from Doctor Who, as a gender-bent variation of the character, which I think is super cool, and I'm very excited about, because also, I liked Clara. Wasn't my favorite companion, but she was cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited to see what Jenna Coleman brings to it, but like, and Gwendolyn Christie,
always great.
Majesty. Just absolute majesty. But as far as like, are we going to see like this Sandman universe as we are seeing in this trailer integrated into like what we see as like the DCEU universe? I don't see that happening. And by saying that, I also really hope that doesn't happen.
No, I mean, I'm hoping this is kind of its own thing. I just had to ask for the sake of asking.
That's fair.
Because it needs to be its own thing. Similar to how Joker and stuff like that, I feel like doesn't need to enter the Snyderverse, right? Like the Joaquin Phoenix's Joker isn't the Snyder Joker. No. You know what I mean? They just don't fit, right? No. So, and the same with Sandman here. It needs to go do his own thing, which is not even really.
It's like the Batman.
Closely connected. Yeah, exactly. And so.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if DC
we got a new follower, real quick.
Yeah,
thanks. Is it Phil Geeky? Phil Geeky?
Yeah, that's Phil Geeky. Phil Geeky is actually a very good friend of mine. Thank you so much for popping into this stream. We really appreciate that. Thank you for the follow.
Thanks, Phil Geeky.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, last but certainly not least, D&D Among Thieves had the internet blowing up on Friday. Do you guys think that this could be a solid reboot of D&D into the mainstream? Give us some of that, like Sav, you brought up the kind of the first attempt, I believe, in the early 2000s. Do you guys think this could be a better attempt than that one, at the very least?
Yeah. It already looks like a better attempt. Like, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, most early 2000s adaptation movies are all terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
Aragon is also on that list.
All Resident Evil movies. They were entertaining, but they weren't great. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Which that's why I was saying at the top of the show, the Resident Evil show on Netflix, not terrible, maybe better than the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I don't know what that's saying.
It's not hard to do, but
it's supposed to follow video game canon instead of movie canon. Like,
good.
Maybe
which
that's
I
why
like.
it's better.
I like that. I like that a lot. But who won Comic-Con this year? Why was it clearly Disney and Marvel?
As it always is. They just had more content. They had more stuff to show. I feel like they, when they're a talent show when they're doing it, like holding their hand overhead, and whoever gets the most applause wins. I feel like Marvel probably, like, we could calculate the decibels of the applause they received. They might have just blew everyone else out of the water.
Yeah, they did.
No
Definitely.
contest at all.
which is funny because I feel like I don't know who decided they were coming back to the Comic-Con first, whether it's DC or Marvel, but I just imagine them going, I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna kill it this year. And then DC just, oh no, we're gonna kill it this year. And then they just see the fucking, like you said, the 52 card deck that they just threw out on the
Imagine working at Warner Brothers and having said the words, we're gonna kill it this year. And then went to that Comic-Con and you're sitting there today going, we didn't kill it this year.
Your soul is dying and your pension is lost. It's as Dodd, our moderator, has very appropriately pointed out in chat, that the real winners were the fans.
Yes,
like the real winners were the fans, because
we didn't get a lot.
Technically, we wouldn't be having this show without that having happened. So I guess we're the real winners here.
We had enough from this year's Comic-Con to make a 2-hour show out of. So yeah, that's definitely the winners were the fans this year for sure. And
I want to be very clear. This show could have been longer.
Yeah, we probably could have made it way longer because we could have broke down a lot more of the stuff that was announced. But who am I, Eric Voss? Anyway,
yeah,
not breaking down things. I'm pointing out the obvious. But thanks, Shadow.
Niches in this community.
Shadows 998, which I don't know if I ever need to add the letters or the numbers. It's just sometimes you have to, because sometimes they mean something. That could have been a meaningful thing. But anyway, thanks, Shadows, for the follow. And that will wrap it up for this week's deep dive. After all the talk about San Diego Comic-Con, though, we thought it would be best if we wrap things up with our top things from San Diego Comic-Con. Some of our favorite things. What did we really, really like? Not all the stuff that we talked about, but just all the stuff that we talked about. And I'm going to start us off. Well, actually, before I do that, Dodd, do the doddle. Doddle. The dangle.
The doddles.
Well, number 10 on this week's top 10, which again is our favorite things from announced at Comic-Con. Mine, number 10 is Keanu Reeves, or fucking John Wick. God damn it, I can't talk. John Wick 4 trailer. Keanu Reeves 4 drop. But anyway, yeah, John Wick's 4 trailer. It was one of my favorite things from Comic-Con. Not to be that dude, but what more in life can you ask for than Keanu Reeves and Donnie Yen fighting with both knives and swords? Not much. John Wick 4 is here to give you more and more of that. With a sprawling cast filled to the brim with action luminaries, one of the world's premier action franchises returns in early 2023 with its latest thrilling installment. And you can just give me John Wick's until I die. This can be my generation's Bond. And, fuck you guys for hating on it. Because y'all have, 30 James Bond movies? Get out of here. Give me 30 Keanu Reeves as I don't want him to switch. No switching. No switching, just Keanu. Until he is too old to kill people on screen.
And then he'll kill them with his words.
Yeah, and then it'll kill him with his words. But that was number 10 on this week's countdown as far as like our top 10 favorite announcements from Comic-Con. What did you guys think about the John Wick trailer? I know we talked about it a little bit already, but
I'll watch anything with Donnie Yen in it. Anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Same.
anything. Don't care.
nice,
Same.
nice. Well, what do we have on number 9 on this week's countdown, Kev?
At number 9, we've got Bill Murray and Ant-Man. After years of rumors, and also Bill Murray just kind of spoiling it on talk shows, we finally have confirmation that Bill Murray is making his way to the MCU. Specifically, Murray appeared in today's San Diego Comic-Con trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the third installment in Peyton Reed and Paul Rudd's Ant-Man movies. What a way to officially kick off Phase 5, am I right, guys?
No, it's
Yeah.
great. The crowd went wild.
Yes.
My question is if what if this is a red herring and this is literally just Bill Murray playing himself, Bill Murray, in a Marvel movie? I honestly think that could be better than any fan casting I could ever come up with. Like, people are like, oh, Bill Murray is MODOK. And I'm like, yeah, Bill Murray is Bill Murray in the MCU. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm here for it. I'm here
I
for it.
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it wouldn't be shocking. That would actually probably
Yeah.
make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or he's
Love interest for Janet. Oh my gosh, that would also be great because that would just be oh man. Oh, can you imagine a romantic triangle between Michael Douglas's Hank Pym, Bill Murray as just Bill Murray, and Michelle Pfeiffer's Janet Van Dyne? Is that what
Ooh.
Quantumania is going to become? Like,
And then-
is this the MCU's Meet the Fockers-esque elderly like white romantic comedy?
I was gonna
Probably,
say, what
yeah.
is damn, now I can't even think of it. He played in Bill Murray's definitely been in like a rom-com like that before.
Something
because-
with Diane West, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's got to be something. I'll think of it after the show. But but no, I'm very excited for Bill Murray to be in Ant-Man. I know the crowd was too, and so. But what about number 8 on this week's countdown, Sav?
8 is the confirmation of a MCU official project of Secret Wars. Avengers Secret Wars is announced as what will be in canon Avengers 6th in the film franchise. So this is insanely exciting. This opens so many doors for future character castings, for what future teams we can expect. It 100% guarantees a future appearance of Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four movie or no. I mean, Secret Wars is the event in Marvel Comics where we saw things like the black suit symbiote Spider-Man come into play, for instance, and we already know that the symbiote's been introduced into Earth 616 because of the events of No Way Home. Like, it's setting up so many cool things. It is arguably one of the biggest events in Marvel's entire published history outside of things like the Infinity Saga. So it makes a certain degree of sense that this is like the next bar they had to set for themselves as far as storytelling goes after the events of things like Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, Endgame was already really good, but Secret Wars is gonna be fucking bananas, guys.
Oh, yeah.
There have already been people on podcasts talking about like how the Secret of Secret Wars is actually going to be even a second movie after that. Like, it's going to be like Kang Saga and then like Secret Wars Part 1,
Wars
Secret Wars
within
Part
wars.
2. Like,
Yeah.
and people are already just going absolutely insane because the breadth of the Secret Wars story is huge. They condensed it, they re-released it and retold it and condensed it in 2015, and it was still 9 full volume miniseries. Like, it's a big story.
As long as we get some Deadpool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're gonna get Deadpool really soon, and I think it's definitely something they're never ever going to mention because like that's gonna be a thing that like people won't know until it happens. Like, we see it in a theater. Like,
Yeah.
like
Well,
with
what is
No
the
Way
comic?
Home.
It's like there's the Avengers Secret Wars, but then it's like the Secret Wars, or what's the one that has?
Came out in the 2015 retelling. Is there was a Deadpool miniseries where it was like the Super Secret Wars,
Yes,
where
yeah, that's what it
Deadpool
is.
telling the whole story from his perspective, and they actually used that in publishing to redo some of the retcons in difference between the 2015 retelling and the original 80s storyline. It was very clever.
No, it was not. It's one of those one of the few comics where like it's a kind of a standalone side thing that comes out years later that you can still thoroughly enjoy, especially if you've read Secret Wars, right? But then That's why I kind of like I'm hoping I get at least a little bit of Deadpool as like a nod to the Secret Wars, right?
Yeah.
Black suit Spider-Man. I want a black suit Spider-Man.
That would be dope.
That
But
would be
go.
speaking of some awesome like kind of announcements around the Spideyverse, or at least
Yeah.
I mean, I say that transition. Kev, what's number 7?
Daredevil is everywhere. They say the devil is in the details, and apparently most of Phase 5 too. In addition to the reveal of his 18 EP series, we also catch our first glimpse of the Daredevil suit in the new She-Hulk trailer with some interesting new details. You have to see Matt in suit since the events of Netflix Season 3. Cox and DeForno have also reported, well, I thought I was going to butcher that name, have also reportedly confirmed for the Echo series as well, with DeForno also reprising his role in Hawkeye Season 2, whose details were noticeably absent. Guys, are you glad Charlie Cox is coming back?
I know this is going to be great, man. The 18 episode series that Disney called for too is like the longest out of any of their hero series, or out of any of their series, I believe.
They've only done 8, and they did. WandaVision was 9, but that's only because the first 3 episodes were only 20 to 30 minutes. Like, as far as runtime goes, they were the same as the 6 to 8 episodes we got from Winter Soldier and Ms. Marvel. And also, Shadows makes an amazing point in chat, and that is, we would love to see the beginnings of the Young Avengers like Wiccan and Hulkling. Just throwing that out there, too. Let's go, Phase 5.
Let's go Phase 5.
Holes.
No, they do have some I mean, there is some stuff they gotta like, we need to patch up, right? And so Phase 5 is definitely the time to do that, especially with this being what they're dubbed as the multiverse phase, right?
Yes.
So,
I think its length is also maybe an excuse for it to. I think it's a pretty clear indication that in and of itself is probably going to be used as a springboard and a setup for something else. Maybe like a Shadowlands or a Midnight Suns spin-off series, which we already know we're getting a Blade. Ghost Rider has already been teased to return, and Daredevil's at the helm at a lot of those teams. So this might be something that at least they might use so many episodes to kind of help integrate some of those tertiary characters to set up some of those other options.
100%.
Everything's a setup.
True. Everything's a setup. Including this setup to this next person on our top Zen.
Didn't even write that joke.
Right? What's number 6 on this week's countdown?
Number 6 on this week's countdown, which I've already gone on about ad nauseum, is going to be the Sandman trailer. I am thrilled for this for a number of reasons. The latest trailer gives us FaceTime with virtually every character in the adaptation, and if we don't see them in the trailer, we saw them in the released poster, which is, to me, just as good, getting able to see what some of these characters are going to look like. But obviously, the stealer of the show across the board is Gwendolyn Christie portrayal as Lucifer, as the ruler of hell. Just the words that were written into the script, which I will directly quote because it's perfect, is absolutely resplendent. Just 100%. The gravitas, the portrayal, the tone, the attitude, everything, 100% here for it. The adaptation languished for so long in production limbo, but as the Corinthian in the trailer says, dreams don't fucking die. I am so excited for this. There's so many bits and characters just from the trailer, from having read the comics, like being able to accurately identify each one as to who they were and where they fell in the story. Like being able to do that as a fan service was wonderful, but also really makes me take them more seriously when they were so long talking about, and when Neil Gaiman himself is talking about, he's like, I helped write this adaptation, it's gonna be true to the material. I believe that now. I believe it now, and it feels so good.
It does. It looks really good. So I'm excited for Sandman. And it's nice to finally get a trailer for it. That's kind of what this big one was. And like you said, the poster as well. We got just any news around this that's been stuck in limbo hell forever. I think there's a lot of people who just listen to the audiobook so they could just have.
It's like when we got the first Deadpool trailer. We just heard about it for so long, and then we finally got it, and it was just yes, absolutely.
But number 5 on this week's countdown is this cosplay. So wait, it's over here. Yeah, that one right there. That cosplay. I mean, look at it. It's two of my favorite things: Star Wars and Austin Powers. What you can't see because we only had a limited space was they had a full gang. This group did. They had two of the Stormtrooper Fembots, Goldmember Boba Fett, and a Foxy Cleopatra Leia, Princess Leia. And then, of course, as you see there, the Austin Powers Vader. So there was a ton of really awesome cosplay at this year's Comic-Con. But as I was looking through the photos, I saw this one and was like, well, I'm putting that one on my top 10. But all I could think about was kind of like quotes like Luke, I am your Faja, and or something like that. Faja, anyway.
Yeah, you have to. What is it? Is it the gold member? I am your Faja.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time, so that one's I love gold. And I don't know if that's racist. But anyway, Polish, I guess is not. It's okay. I can make fun of them, right? I'm white.
Dutch. They were the Dutch.
The Dutch. That's what you crazy Dutch bastard.
That's a little bit racist because Michael Caine's character is like two things I can't stand.
No, one of my favorite.
Dutch.
Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite fucking quotes. Is there's two things I can't stand: people that are like whatever, but
people's cultures.
Yes, and the
Dutch.
But number 4 on this week's countdown, besides that amazing, moving right along from that amazing cosplay, is number 4 on this week's countdown. Phase 6 timeline announced, and obviously all of Phase 5 is announcements too. But one of the biggest pieces of news coming from Marvel's big Hall H panel was Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is incoming, with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever sending off Phase 4, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania being the official first Phase 5 movie. But they didn't just stop with an announcement of Phase 5. No, we also got some major bombs from Phase 6 as well. Revealed at Comic-Con was Marvel Studios panel. We learned that Phase 6 will begin with the Fantastic Four, and it will end with 2 new Avengers movies, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and Avengers: Secret Wars, as we've been talking about earlier. But Marvel also confirmed that the end of Phase 6 will complete the MCU's second saga, which is now officially called the Multiverse Saga. So it's interesting to be phases within sagas, and everything. But like really to have all of this laid out and at least the next 5 years of our lives kind of planned for us. It's always nice that corporate daddy gives us that one, right?
Yeah.
So I think Mephisto is real in the MCU. Mephisto is just Kevin Feige because I've definitely sold my soul to him. 100%.
He's got it all. He's got it all in ink, right?
I've sold my soul to Kevin Feige at this point because I'm gonna go. You got me. Yes, I know what I'm doing the next 5 years of my life. Sure, let's go. Chop. give me release dates and costume options.
Yeah.
I think Did y'all see the actual animated trailer panel for where they revealed Multiverse Saga as a title?
No, I just saw the final piece that I think we have in our thumbnail or whatever over here.
It was super cool. So they bring in first. They have They say Phase 4, and they have the Roman numeral 4, and then the first one fades away, and then it's the V for Phase 5, and then they add the 1 to the other side, and it's the 6 for Phase 6, and then it all fills into the Multiverse Saga. It is some slick ass animation. Like whoever did that on their marketing department.
I was gonna say it's with Disney. They got or Marvel at least best of the best when it comes to design, right?
Yeah.
So, but number 3 on this week's countdown, Sav. What do we got at number 3?
Oh, we obviously have the Dungeons and Dragons trailer. It was going to be in the top 3 somewhere. And I also want to point out a very specific fun detail about this trailer image here, right there-ish. Is that several pieces of the artwork from this ampersand are actually taken directly from Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons monster manuals. I think the Intellect Devourer, that's right here, the brain thing with legs, it's really hard to see. That's directly from I think the 5th edition monster manual. Super cool. Anyway, but yes, the trailer is super exciting to see. D&D has always been kind of on this adjacent limbo part of nerd culture, and it's good to see that someone's desperately trying to bring it in. Matt Mercer did an amazing job of Critical Role, and I feel like this is just sort of the next step of that cultural evolution. But this was a very, very, very happy surprise. I feel like we've all kind of heard about a D&D film project being developed, but no one had really seen any meat to it. And this trailer brought us that, and I feel like it brought us that in a very cool, fun-looking way. and we already said it before. Like we got the best Chris. We got Chris Pine, playing a very believable bard. Like I'm here for it. I think it's gonna be absolutely great. And not the full trailer, but there was like a teaser they released before it, and I can't find it, and I haven't been able to find it since. But there's like a character teaser where it shows like just like all the main characters, like Chris Pine and Justice
they
Smith's
had
character.
like a living poster or something that was
And if you look, it has like their character names underneath them, and if you look really carefully next to their character name, it actually has their D&D 5th edition like class icons that like identifies which character class they're supposed to be. And I just thought that was such a very cool, neat detail, because I'm like Chris Pine's got to be like a rogue or something, right? And then I saw that he was a bard, and I'm like, that's actually better. That's so much better.
The fact that they made him the bard really kind of like drove it to me. And then like even in the trailer, he's like, I make plans. And they're like, well, what about, like, and that's
then
it.
What do we need after that? He's like, well, when that plan fails, I make a new plan. So you make plans that fail?
And he's just like, no, but like, plans fail, right? And so like,
always have a plan and never rely on it. That is literally the first rule of D&D party management. But
I really think they leaning into some of the D&D stuff. Like you could definitely tell that I think I can't even think of her name.
It looks like it's gonna have all the right bits. It's gonna
the actress was clearly a warrior. You know what I mean? That was with him. Like she had the axe, and like she's ready to do some damage.
Yeah, like it's got all the bits that I wanted. It's got unique, distinct characters who are good at cool things, who are interesting personalities. There's lots of fun magic happening everywhere. But speaking of magic, moving on to the more magical side of DC, and like one of the 3 things they brought to the conversation, what do we have for number 2? Jake?
Yeah, one of the few things DC even brought to the table made number 2 on our countdown. It's the Shazam trailer. One of our favorite Found Families is back in the first Shazam Fury of the Gods trailer. Though from the sound of it, Shazam's complaints to Billy Baston's pediatrician, things aren't exactly super. There's a growing division among the super siblings, which will only be made worse by the arrival of the sequel's villains, the Daughters of Atlas, played by Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, and Rachel Zellweger or Zegler Jesus, from West Side Story. But anyway, the cheeky trailer includes nods to everything from Annabelle to Starro, and was even more electrifying than the arrival of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in his Black Adam costume, which I don't know if you guys saw on the DC panel, but Dwayne came out in the Black Adam, because he is Black Adam, right? Like he doesn't need any padding for that costume. He is kind of like
he's DC's Ryan Reynolds. Like no one else can be that character.
Exactly.
It's like no one else can be Deadpool. No one else can be Black Adam. Like,
but honestly, I did notice the Annabelle thing when I was watching the trailer. It was one of the few times I had to new Rockstars it and like pause it and be like, wait, was that Annabelle?
Weird. There's Annabelle. There's all these pictures of Starro, like on the little alphabet poster where you learn your like alphabet. Yes, thank you for follows. More follows.
Oh yeah, got some more ones. Thanks, guys. But
gosh.
Annabelle, that whole thing, I was like, what the fuck? Like, way to go, WB. Like, we're getting all of the cameos in on this one.
And let's start. And like, there's like this learn your letters by Associated Animal poster behind him, and the one for S is Starro. Yeah. So let's put this in context here. This is a universe where we obviously know that the events of Suicide Squad, the James Gunn version, took place, and Starro massacres this entire island nation through it and its weird parasite babies, and somehow now this is translated into children learning material. Amanda Waller is doing some behind the scenes marketing that is just next level. Like, respect to that particular detail.
No, 100%. Sorry, what are you going to say, Kev?
No, I was going to say that's what she does.
Oh, yeah. No, Amanda Waller. As far as if we're gonna be what's it called whenever like they like subliminal messaging, right? If anybody's gonna put some subliminal messaging into some DC movies, it's gonna be Waller.
Oh. yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But rounding up the top 10 this week, what do we have at number 1 for our favorite things from Comic-Con 2022? San Diego Comic. I don't know why I always feel like I need to say San Diego. Anyway, what's number 1, Kev?
Yeah, number one. I think Comic Con. Everyone knows, unless you want to be official. No, but it doesn't matter. I digress. Number one, we have the Black Panther trailer. The long-awaited sequel to Black Panther from director Ryan Coogler will end Phase 4 of the MCU. Here are the officially announced schedules for Phase 5, Phase 6, by the way, and introduce MCU audiences to Namor and Riri Williams. Angela Bassett's monologue deserves to be mentioned as many times as possible. It'll be emotional, but it looks like it's going to be an amazing end to Phase 4 of the MCU. Yeah. Guys, do you think that was the number one thing that came out of Comic-Con?
Say it probably is.
Does anyone not?
Yeah. You would have to make a good argument for one of the other things to say that this the Black Panther trailer probably didn't win Comic-Con by itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Angela Bassett's monologue won Comic-Con by itself. Holy crap! You can't tell because my camera's shit, but I have goosebumps just from mentioning Angela Bassett in conversation right now, from her performance in that trailer. But like, and also cool detail. If you read the comics Tales of Wakanda, this image that we're using down there for our capture is Ayo in one of the Dora Milaje in what appears to be a wedding gown. And cool part, that's actually a direct story from Tales of Wakanda where she marries her wife. So we are literally opening the Black Panther trailer, with a gay wedding. Let's fucking go.
See, I saw it on a breakdown where they thought that this was going to be the funeral of T'Challa, like that, because there was a lot of people dressed in white, and it looked like there was some sort of like whatever. But then
it seemed very celebratory. That read as wedding to me,
because they were dancing.
Western lens thing, but
sometimes funerals are a celebration of life, right? Especially in other cultures, so you never know.
It's true.
And if they're not going to show it in China, you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I think it definitely won Comic-Con by itself just because the internet blew up with it, right? Everybody's trying to figure out, or not really everybody's trying to figure out, because I think we've got a good idea of who is going to be the next Black Panther that was at the end there, right? We saw the claws come out, we saw the black suit with the gold accents, and so, I think a lot of people are going to be excited to see just how this movie handles having to basically completely reset. I don't know if a lot of people know, and maybe you don't, but this was written, while Chadwick Boseman was still alive, and with full intention of him being heavily involved, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously the tragic passing of him, and then they had to completely go right back to the drawing board and rewrite this entire movie almost. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. How we see the Black Panther maybe, or how T'Challa dies or passes in the comics, or not the comics, but in the show or in the movie, and then just who takes up that mantle, right? Because there's been a ton of theories around it, but
there's so many theories. I mean, I was just gonna spout off one or two of mine. One of which was I think we're going to see a Black Panther. I think there's an argument to be made that maybe it's not necessarily the next Black Panther, but maybe a previous one, because of some specific costume details that were pointed out between the gold detailing that you see in that suit versus the one T'Challa's father wore that we see at the beginning of the first Black Panther movie. I haven't looked close enough at that in retrospect to see if that has any viability to it, but that's something I actually read in between seeing the trailer and this show, and I thought that was just an interesting note.
Gotcha. I mean, no, it's a good one to note. But
doesn't matter.
That'll wrap up our top 10 for this week. Obviously we wanted to just list out some of our favorite things from this year's Comic-Con to kind of sift through the noise. There was a shitload of stuff announced this year, guys, and so all you have to do is kind of fast forward and go straight to our top 10, and you'll know the top 10. On Squishmallows that Nelly had mentioned earlier, which we probably should have mentioned because that
was a big one.
That was a big one. That was a big one. That Gengar Squishmallow literally stole my heart the moment I saw it. And I don't even have any of those things, right? Like I'm not well, as I say that, there's a literal the death ones right here. I've got the plague.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I've got one Squishmallow, and it's the Plague Doctor because when COVID came out and everybody was talking about, like, this is my new obsession. I was like, I'm gonna get the one that literally is a Plague Doctor for my COVID obsession. So. Oh no, that's a squishable. That's my bad. They're different. I fucked that all up. My bad.
Nelly just
We're gonna get so many angry comments.
you just got read to hell in chat. Like
just set the toy community on fire, Jake.
Yeah, no, Nelly, you're a squishable person. Me too. Like if that's a squishable, then I like those things. But I will take the Gengar squishable. So, but yeah. Well, that'll about wrap it up for this week's episode of Geek Life. We hope that you enjoyed everything that you've seen here today. And remember, if you want more Geek Life, as always, you can follow us here on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all of the things. We've got a link tree in the bio, or link tree somewhere around here below us that you can go and find.
It's in the text.
All of our shit, guys. We've got tons of YouTube videos. We put out a Who the Fuck probably almost every week, if not every bi-weekly now. So if you're wondering who is the latest person to pop up in a trailer, video game, a comic, whatever it may be, we're usually covering them for you guys. We got you covered. And so check out all of our content that is on YouTube, all that stuff. Hit those buttons and shit. All the stuff you do to support people because we love the support, right?
We would love it, absolutely.
It features all of our wonderful voiceover stylings.
Like, I know it's a family style. Like you get a different voice every episode.
It really is. And sometimes the person recording it doesn't peak their mic all the time. So go check it out.
Yeah.
But big shout out to our moderator, Littlest Nelly. Thanks for keeping everything clean in the chat. And also our producer, Dodd, usually on the show, hosting the show. Thanks for handling everything on the back end on this one. And thanks for all the new followers. I know we got a couple of new followers. And then also, Caperdoodle, as always, you're here.
Thanks, Cape.
Yeah, thanks, Cape, for all the support. And then, I think we had... I can't even read those because they're too small. Can anybody read our followers that we had?
You got Feel Geeky. We got Shadows998. Let's see. I know I'm Geek Ledger. If they dropped a follow, if not, welcome to the stream. Anyways, good to have you here, friend.
Super Pilos here right at the end. Great show. Super late. Yeah. No worries, man. Better late than never. And we always post highlights and we post the whole episodes on YouTube. So, like I said, if you want to go back and watch later, but we'll be back next week or maybe the next. I don't know. We'll be back eventually because we always come back. I know we took a way longer break than we like to before on this one, but I was moving all kinds of shit. If you didn't notice, this is a whole new apartment for me. And so, but we'll be back. Like I said, though, we're getting those what the fucks out or who the fucks out like all the time. So definitely stick around for those. But we'll be back, guys. Until then, peace.
Yeah, take it easy, y'all.